Hey everyone, welcome to the Industry Show. I'm your host, Nitin Bajaj, and joining me today is Reena Gupta. Reena, welcome on the show.
Thank you, Nitin. So happy to be here.
Pleasure is all ours. Let's start with who is Reena?
Well, professionally, I'm an entrepreneur, an author, and I call myself as a work-life harmony champion and a helpful, good human being who loves to have a happy and regret-free life and enjoying my life. So, I have two kids. I live in Pleasant in California, so just enjoying my life here.
And having known you for a bit, I can attest to every single one of those things.
Thank you. Thank you.
So tell us, what do you do for a living? I know you do a few things. So tell us
Yeah.
which ones are, the closest to your heart, where you're spending most of
Mhm.
your time and energy now.
So I am kind of doing a few things simultaneously,
Mhm.
and there's some things that I do for my community, something that I do for myself, and something that I'm going back to my entrepreneurial bug that I'm starting a new tech startup. So I'll talk about my new tech startup that it is in generative AI and content and all that. But I also run a nonprofit called Mom Relaunch to help women who are on a career break get back into the workforce. And I also nurture youth for entrepreneurship and things. So in summary, I like to teach and nurture people to live a harmonious and regret-free life. And I have three things that I always go back and say that I teach creativity to youth,
Mhm.
confidence to women, and empathy to men, because it's very important for them to be on the same page when we are working with. This is one of the things that is very close to my heart, which says while I'm nurturing women for career, it couldn't be possible unless she knows and how to get the support from the whole family. So it this all these things, and I do several community work in my local city as well. I'm part of the Economic Vitality Council. I'm part of the school district advisory board and some nonprofit foundations. So a few things on my plate, but yeah, all fun stuff. Really
Well,
enjoying doing everything.
in true Reena spirit, very modest, very down to earth. But I do love your clarity and your mission and the ease with which it flows from you, and always with a smile. So I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Keep doing
Thank
what you
you.
do. We really appreciate it. Now, tell us, I obviously understand the why, right?
Mhm,
But I would love to hear that in your words. And also,
mhm.
why now?
Yeah. So the why for all three things are different
Mhm.
because if you're doing a few things, I always believe that if we always think know that people talk about let's change the world, let's put the dent in the sky, but what they feel to ignore is their own house, their own home, their own community, their own neighbors. So I was born and raised in a joint family. And joint family, when I say a joint family of four families, and we grew up with 21 cousins in one big family. So I have lived through a community where we knew that we can learn and grow with each other. And the cousins in our family were like from teenagers to 2 years old, and we were all learning and sharing with each other. So that memory has always been in my life, and that shaped me who I am. So everything I do, I look into three things. How is it helping me? How is it helping my family? How is it helping my community? So that's why I do a lot of those things that I do around with for my community for that spirit. And why now? Because this is the most important time to make sure that we connect and help with each other. Because there is it's sad situation, but we are aware of the whole world, but we don't know what's happening in our own neighborhood. So if you ever happen to see the work that I do in my community, we have created like a text group of all our families, like 6 7 families just around each other, and say if you have anything, we you will see how nicely we text. Oh, there was a noise at night. So that community spirit has to be there. So that answers why I do the community work. Secondly, about youth, I think if we don't nurture them in the right direction, not like just doing pitch fests and entrepreneurship, but actually nurturing the problem solving skills, that not to be a complainer but roll up your sleeves and find solution. That's all I want them to learn and teach, and that's what I focus on. And that's the same thing I teach for Mom Relaunch. And the third thing why I'm doing my tech startup is I think it's very hard for me not to do anything.
Yes.
So, so now I I did sold one of my companies in 2018. I knew that I'm going to devote my life literally 5 years for community work, doing a lot of these things that I was not doing as much as during that earlier. Then
Mhm.
I kind of switched. Now I'll be doing a little bit more on my tech startup. So I have a time and priority set up for each phase of my life. So that's why I'm doing all this.
And I've seen
So
firsthand how organized and disciplined you are. You have a time slot for each of those things. So I absolutely love the focus because otherwise, making an
mm,
impact at such a scale across so
mhm.
many different things is impossible. So kudos to
Yeah, thank you, thank you. Right. Without that, I call it as the focus management, not even time management. I
you.
have to be focused, otherwise I can't do anything like that.
So true. Now, tell us what is the biggest challenge you're facing as an
Uh-huh.
entrepreneur, as a community leader, as somebody who's mentoring youth. If you were to
Hmm.
boil it down to one big challenge, what is
Hmm.
that?
I think one big challenge, in my opinion, is people are very polarized. They
Mhm.
don't want to understand and listen to others' opinion, and they are missing on accepting others as they are. I think the moment they accept, no two people are same. Even in our house, we have challenges, right? But if you learn to accept others as they are, and this is one thing I have learned in my own spiritual journey with Art of Living, is accept people as they are, as accept them as. So that is one of the biggest challenge.
Mhm.
Um, Immediately, the whole whatever the technology has done to us, or not technology, we have found ourselves in a situation because we just want to be right at what cost, and the people are forgetting that cost. So that is the challenge. I see that in community, I see that in that. And on a lighter note, the challenge that I'm facing, it's kind of funny, is like I when I sold my company, I think I'm going to sleep in a little bit more, but it's hard to sleep late till late. So every time I stay awake with this challenge, and every time I'm thinking and listening and reading about it, it's like, oh my God, this how we need to just learn how to accept. I think this is the biggest challenge.
So true. Now, I'm curious to hear on the flip side of this challenge comes
Hmm.
opportunities, right?
Yes.
And as you work across this wide spectrum of
Hmm.
people, what's the one thing you're most excited about?
I think the most exciting thing about is the opportunity that there is a way to change. There's a way, not change in the sense mindset, but there is so much to grow and learn.
True.
That, see, if you have already learned and done and be there, you feel that we have already reached everything and we have
Mhm.
done. But the human mind, the capacity is so high. I mean, with the
True.
technological advances, I think the the skill to imagine what we can be, and it's never an end to it. So I think there's that excitement is like today and few years from now will be completely different, but that part really excites me. There's never an end to it. So that that skill to imagine what we can be, and that's what makes us human, and that's what I think is very important.
So true and so very well said.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm inclined to look back in the rearview mirror
Hmm.
and talk about these two instances. One that became a success beyond your imagination and
Hmm.
expectations. And on the other end, something that did not and
Hmm.
essentially was a failure and became a lesson.
Hmm. So, first of all, let me address the second part. So, long time back, I took out the word failure from my dictionary, and I said, I'm not
Love it.
going to call it failure at all. It's my learning. So
Yeah.
that changed that helped me kept going. So there is no, I call myself as a solo bootstrapped entrepreneur, by the way.
Mhm.
So I
Yes.
and came from a background where girls were not even allowed to have a
Mhm.
career, forget about education and all those things. So there were many opportunities that was very easy for me to give up. Just say, forget it. I don't have to do this. Why am I even doing it? But I kept going and going because, like, I kept learning from those incidences. So there's no lack of it. If you say, tell me one, I think I'll have thousands of those, and from making the wrong hiring decisions to making the wrong decisions, but still kept going. Second thing, the first question about the opportunity. So don't laugh at this, but I think my opportunity or call me as a lucky person to get married to the person who supported me in every aspect professionally. Now I'm very careful in saying that how much he supports at home because I have to train and nurture him on that end. But he getting married to the right person is the turning point for me. I think that is the opportunity, and I tell people very whether it is looking for friends, for partners, whoever they are, but having there's a lot of luck to it. I'm not saying that. So that is an opportunity that has changed, that has made me who I am. Because, and that's why I'm very big on supporting, having a supportive environment, whether at home or whether at community. So that without that, it's very difficult, very difficult. And I'm a social butterfly. So I go and meet people and I create that network as and when I can. So those two things I would say is very important for people, not like specific thing about success and failure. Just keep on learning, keep on finding opportunities, and what made you who you are, always appreciate that.
True. And I agree with that, that you want to surround yourself with people that will enable you. And
Yes.
your life partner obviously is that one big uh, person that can do that for you. So I'm glad you found the right person. And
And there is a story to it. I didn't even find that for my we had an arranged marriage. So our parents did a good job there. So
kudos to them.
yes, absolutely. All credit goes to them.
I would love to
Mhm,
ask you to share a few one-line life lessons with
mhm,
us that
mhm,
you've either adopted or
mhm,
you have come to define that have essentially, shaped how you
mhm,
think, how you are, and
mhm.
how you help people around you.
So I have one specific tagline that I use and tell to everybody. It's like I say, I live my life with help generously, but ask shamelessly. You
Love it.
will you will see me asking without any inhibition, saying that I need this, whether you can do it or not. I remember when we were exchangers, like, hey, your industry show looks good, and should
Yeah,
I be on your show? And that's how I do it. That's how I operate. I have seen more and more people want to help. That is the problem.
true.
And that's what I like people to understand is like, and at the same time, people are very hesitant in asking for help. But at the same time, you have to be very open on helping. And all these things has to be done. You cannot be just one-sided. If somebody comes, it's like when somebody comes and asks me for help, my first thing is like, oh, I'm so lucky that I am in a position to help. That's my first thought. So that's how I shaped my life, and I shaped. You will not find me asking for help for any reason, hesitation. But at the same time, I do go out of my way to help anyone. Second thing that I have learned from my dad is offer advice only when it is asked. So I try not to do any advice, though I nurture and all those things, but I try my level best not to say until and unless it's asked. It's very important in there. Third thing that has always helped me in my networking and the fun stuff that I do is I always capture every new person that I meet with a mobile phone. Make use of your mobile phone. And that's the best way to remember. That's why that has helped me with professionally, personally, open up with people, make a conversation. All these things that we hear, especially for women, think, "Oh, how do I go and open up the conversation?" It is like, "Hey, can I have a picture? Let's have a picture first and then talk." Right? It just opens up, and I think I've been doing this. You may have seen me doing that in
Oh, of
in
course.
that conference also.
And
So,
what I love about that is you are
mhm.
creating a memory. You
Exactly. Hmm.
and that allows you to build on top of that. And like you said, that's the
Hmm.
start of that relationship.
That's it. So the first thing again, as I said, I use my mobile to its best possible usage. So what else? I mean, these are a few things that I've always used in my networking, and I also have a saying that we should focus on ourselves, our family, and our community. Rest, if we just focus, everybody just focus on that, the whole world will be a good place. You don't have to solve everyone's problem and the whole world problem. So yeah, I think I've covered quite a bit. And I also follow, I have like a one-page canvas for myself. I call it as work-life canvas, which I have written in my book also, this Career Interrupted, this where it is all about just create a framework for yourself. You know what you want to do, what give yourself a time frame, and try to keep accountable for yourself.
Reena, thank you so much for being you, for being
Thank
here
you.
to share your story and your journey, and for
Mhm.
doing what you do for the entrepreneurs, the community, the youth, in really helping shape the next generation. Really
Mhm.
appreciate it.
Thank you, Nitin. Thank you.